Hey, what's up, Triple P Nation? This week's episode is brought to you by Triple P Life Nutrition, helping you optimize your health and performance.
Welcome
to the Age of Awakening.
Please identify yourself. Enter.
Hey, what's up, Triple P Nation? Welcome back to the podcast, where this week we're going to explore the tools, tactics, and strategies to help you achieve personal and business mastery. Because the mission of this podcast is to help you, entrepreneurs and professionals, learn how to grow in the four key areas of life: mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially, so you can start living your best life, which of course is your Triple P life. I'm your host, Dr. J. Once again, thank you for joining me. Excited about bringing this content and topic this week. It's all about, is it possible to give too much? Think about that. Well, before we get into the meat and potatoes of our show this week, of course, it wouldn't be a normal week if we don't start with our success snack. And this week's success snack is my number one networking secret, because many of you probably have heard me say before that I believe the number one ingredient to success is your ability to build great relationships. And great relationships is your lifeblood to learning from people who are ultimately more successful than you are, or to give back to other people who are on their path. Now, here's my secret. The secret is you need to be more interested than interesting. Okay, what does that mean? Well, whether you are at a large gathering or you're reaching out to someone to invite them for coffee, you want to be interested and make that experience, that engagement, all about them. So you want to have some great questions to ask them. Something similar like, tell me, what has been your number one secret for success? What's the number one challenge you've experienced in business and life? Is there one simple bit of advice that you can give who's someone who's starting their path to success? And listen, I can give you 100 of these, but the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of the questions that you ask. So if you become a great communicator, be Socratic, in other words, ask great questions, engage people, and be interested in learning about them, guess what? They're going to want to learn about you. They're going to learn about, what do you do, right? What industry are you in? How can we collaborate? How can we work together? How can we support each other? So take my number one networking secret. It has helped me build tremendous relationships in a variety of industries and build partnerships that have paid itself off countless times. And I'm sure we'll do the same for you. Now, as I mentioned in my opening, the theme of this show is it possible to give too much? Think about it. Can you give too much? Is giving excessively a bad thing? Well, let's explore that. You see, one of the things I love about this community, what I love about Triple P Nation, is that we are a community of givers. We've been able to make such a huge difference in the world because of our ability to serve others. And I believe the greatest fulfillment you could ever experience as a human being is to live your life in service of others. Now, givers, right? We often find fulfillment in serving and helping others. We find joy, we find happiness. It makes us feel good about ourselves while we're helping other people feel good about themselves. So inherently, giving is a wonderful thing, but it's also crucial for us to maintain a balance so we prevent burnout, so we can maintain our own well-being. Because guys, being a giver can have its drawbacks too. You see, as a giver, we tend to rapidly expend all our energies and time for, let's say, like our spouses, our kids, our friends, extended family, our neighbors, clients, bosses, employees. Man, the list is so long, I'm just exhausted thinking about it. Again, is this a bad thing? No, of course not. Unless you're giving so much of yourself that you are out of balance. In other words, you're not balancing the giving with the replenishing. Now, as we know, being a giver can be physically and mentally exhausting. It can be tough on us because this can result in us to experience a lack of balance in our giving compared to our replenishing. This is a really important note. Look, we can only do this for so long before there will be a physical or an emotional price you're going to inevitably pay. You really tend to see this a lot in people who are taking care of sick parents or relatives. Man, they're going so hard, right? They have their normal life to live, families to take care of, but now they're taking care of a sick relative. And they only can do that for so long before eventually they're just going to crash and burn. Our bodies and minds need to be replenished. They need to repair. They need to recover. And we need to be mindful that we're not machines. We can't go forever without stepping back and taking care of you. So if you are a giver, you need to protect yourself from overextending by being mindful to spend time replenishing your own energy and for your body and your mind. Now, there is an ugly truth, and that truth is for some people is that they will experience guilt for not doing what they think other people want or expect us to do, especially of times of need or when you feel like you should be doing more. You see, guilt and worry only increases the mental and physical fatigue and the illnesses that can bring you to your knees. We need to accept the fact that we can't be everything to everyone and that there are reasons and seasons. I'll explain more in a minute. Now, these things are a normal part of life, right? Circumstances, situations occur in which we are going to give. And we must learn how to overcome the guilt that we might feel and the negativity and the effects it has on our own well-being. Overcoming the feeling of guilt starts with a level of self-awareness. And it's only through self-awareness that we can shift our focus and attention on what we can do realistically that align with our higher selves. Now, that statement is the key, right? What we can do that aligns with our higher self. You see, in the past, I would say yes to just about anyone who needed my help. And the fact is, I really enjoyed it. I love helping people. It makes me feel good, as I mentioned. But guys, it got to the point where every time I said yes to someone in need, I was saying no to me. What I mean is I was doing more for other people than I was doing for myself. In particular, I wasn't focusing on my goals and my own personal ambitions. And the reality is there's only so much time in a day, right? 1,440 minutes a day. We all have the same amount of time. It's what we do with that time that either moves us towards our achieving our dreams or not. So I was giving so much of my time and others. The result was I wasn't pursuing my own dreams. I believe this was one of the biggest personal development lessons of my life. I really do. It was my ability to say no or not now. And the funny thing is, the really ironic thing is, guys, as I achieved more of my goals, I literally had more time to help other people. So stepping back, serving my own goals and ambitions helped create more time and freedom in my life so I can serve and do more for others. So let me ask you this. What do you need to say no to right now in your life? Who are you giving of your time and energy to that's sucking the life out of you? Because there's a good likelihood that that's occurring, and that creates an imbalance. So I want you to write that down. If you're driving, stop, pull over, and write it down. Because if you don't do it now, you're not going to do it. Who do you need to say no to? And sometimes it's yourself. Wait, what? Yeah, you're doing certain things that are not aligned with your highest self. You're giving in areas and to activities and behaviors that are distracting you away from the high priority behaviors that could be advancing your goals. Now, the fact is, there are going to be people who are going to take advantage of your willingness to serve and give. It's just a reality. The thing is, only you can decide what is within your boundaries of giving. There will always be givers and takers. Some people give more, some are just natural takers. Now, perhaps they may give in other ways, but if you're keeping score, guys, don't, because it will never even out and it'll only leave you frustrated and feeling disillusioned with the relationship. As I mentioned, there are reasons and seasons. What I mean is there will be times literally when you're going to need to step away from your own self-interest to lend a hand of someone in need. But you're going to know in your heart when that time is. And a simple way to determine when that time is right to help and serve is by doing the following. The first thing is you need to examine, get it, watch it. I'm going to say it again. You need to examine your values and your beliefs. At the essence of who you are and what moves and motivates and inspires you is your core values, your highest core values. So, question one, what value has been compromised that may cause you to feel a sense of guilt. Because if you're saying yes to something and you're feeling guilty about it, it's something that's not in line with your highest values or your beliefs, which is question number 2. What personal belief has been broken? And 3, how does either one, your belief or value, or both, right, apply to your moral code? And is your moral code being challenged? You see, when we give of ourselves to things that align with our highest values, not only are we going to do it, we're going to do it exceptionally well, and it's going to get done and get done quickly. Now, whether that's for us or other people, but when we're saying yes to things that don't align either with our beliefs and or our values, that's when we're going to feel that sense of emptiness, that sense of guilt. We're being shamed into saying yes because we feel that that's the right thing to do, or we don't want to disappoint other people and make them feel bad. Well, look, you can't live your life for other people. You got to live it for yourself. So you got to get comfortable with the ability to say no or not now. And as I mentioned, the more I leaned into no, the easier it got. And as I mentioned, there are going to be people who are going to take advantage of you until you practice and set those boundaries. And it'll only take one time to say no, and they will stop. So I want to share with you 7 strategies to determine when the appropriate time is to say no. So number 1 is, and then at the end, I'm going to give you some strategies to improve and replenish your energy tank as being such an incredible giver that you are. So number 1 is, as I mentioned, you got to set boundaries. You got to give yourself or establish really clear boundaries on your time and your energy. And of course, your resources, right? There are people who are reaching out to us who want us to contribute financially, and great. But again, does it align with your highest value? There is 1,000,001 charities out there who would love your help and assistance. So for me, the first thing I do is I assess, is this particular organization aligned with my highest values? And then the second thing I look at is, what is their expenditures? How much of their monies of donation goes to administration and how much actually goes to the charity? There's some that over 90% goes towards the administration of the charity and very little goes to the charity. Number 2 is prioritize your self-care, right? You need to know that your physical, emotional, and mental well-being is paramount. So you've got to make sure you are prioritizing that. And again, at the end, I'll give you some very simple steps how to do that. Number 3 is you're going to practice self-awareness. I mentioned that in my monologue, is that givers should regularly check in, right, with how they're feeling, assess your own needs and your limitations, right? You got to be aware of how you're feeling, what your stress levels are and your emotions, because you got to recognize when you need to step back, recharge, and say no. Number 4 is your ability to delegate and collaborate. I love this, right? Because as a leader, the more my ability to delegate things off my plate frees up time so I can say yes. But if you're not a delegator, I guarantee you, you don't have the time and energy to give as much as you would like to. And then collaborating with other people so I can learn how to do certain things and utilize their skills and ability, and they can do so with me, can help us prevent work overload and burnout. Number 5 is you got to get some help, right? It's important for you sometimes to reach out, to have a network, to get encouragement and assistance when needed. This could be your friends, your families, a coach, even a support group. Number 6 is I want you to set realistic expectations. Givers always should set realistic expectations for themselves and for those who they're serving, by recognizing that you can't solve every problem or meet every need. So therefore, you got to focus on your effort, what you can do, what you can't do, and what can have the most impact. And sometimes you just got to step back and say, I've given enough. I'm good. And finally, number 7, that's your ability to practice gratitude. We got to be able to focus on gratitude, right? That can help you as a giver maintain a real positive attitude. That's going to help prevent you from feeling a sense of resentment and even exhaustion. Gratitude is one of those energy givers. So taking time each day to reflect on what you're really grateful for in each and every situation can really help shift your perspective and fill up that tank, as I was mentioning before. So let me give you some simple strategies as far as self-care here. A lot of these you're probably very familiar with, right? As a giver, you got to take care of you. And there's 3 essential elements to do so. It's based on how you eat, move, and think. You got to provide the body food, that's going to nourish you and provide life. I said, anything that's walked on the earth or grown from the earth gives life. Anything that's processed in a bag, box, or can takes life away. Literally, your nutrition. Are you providing your body the proper nutrition so your cells can be sufficient so they can express health, provide you the energy necessary to perform at a high level? And this is just not giving to others, but giving to yourself and in your businesses, etc. Right? Are you moving regularly? We know that regular exercise increases energy levels exponentially. We know regular exercises reduces injury. We know regular exercises helps our body prepare to rest and sleep so we can recover better. We know regular exercise, it's kind of like a generator. The more we move, the more energy we get. Yes, of course, there's a certain point of, diminishing returns, but I guarantee you most of us who are working in this technological age in which we don't move nearly as much as we need to. One of the things I recommend for my clients who work behind a desk in front of a computer is every hour to set the alarm on their phone and take 2 minutes to get up, right? Walk in place, do some jumping jacks, do some squats, do a wall squat, do some push-ups. It's amazing. If you try that one day and you're working 8 hours, 16 minutes, A, you're going to increase your fitness level. B, your energy level will stay elevated throughout the day when you leave, right? When you sit all day, if you don't do anything, you get up and leave, you have no energy. You're done, right? You're exhausted. You'll see a major shift by doing that. Of course, getting proper rest, right? Part of the movement is the movement of your brain, your spinal cord, and your CFS. When we sleep, our CFS acts as a pump and bathes our brain in nutrients, allowing our brain to heal and repair to give us the energy necessary, brain and body, by the way, right? So we can prepare to hit the day and give our very best the next day. Hydration is critical as well, too. What you drink, I see people, I stopped to get gas this morning, man, after my workout. And I ran in because I ran out of water. I was going to grab a bottle of water, and out walks this guy who's a construction worker. He had his jacket on, and he was getting in a truck, and he had 4 Monster drinks. Now, I don't know if that was one a day for 4 days. I mean, you shouldn't have any, but my guess is that was 4 throughout the day. Holy smokes, what are you doing to your thyroid, to your adrenal glands? Boy, that guy's going to have a really major price to pay down the road at some point. And then, of course, mentally, right? Taking time each and every day, each and every morning. You've heard me talk about this before, is what do you do each day to prepare your mind for success? What do you visualize? What thoughts do you put in? What energy do you want to create? Do you look at, read your goals? Do you affirm? Do you meditate, clear your mindset, remove the clutter from your brain? So these are some of the most important self-care tools that you can do as a giver to re-energize, to create a level of relaxation and replenishing and repair your mind and body. So I started this by asking you a question. Can you give too much? And the answer probably is yes, right? But there's ways to mitigate it, number one. Two, there's ways to assess, are you giving to the things that align with your highest values and your beliefs? Number three, and maybe just as importantly, it's appropriate at times to say no or not now. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me today. Hey, before I get off the air here, if you haven't done so, please go to your favorite podcast app, hit the like, follow, subscribe button, leave us a review. Hey, we're on YouTube now. Go check us there. You get to see my pretty face. Okay, maybe I'm not so pretty, but you get to see my face. And we'd love to see you over on the YouTube channel. And of course, if this touched you today, it probably would touch somebody else. As I always say, great content should flow through us, not to us. It should never stop with you. What we can do is share from our abundance, our energy, time, resource, and knowledge and wisdom with other people to improve and change lives. And that's what this whole Triple P Nation community is all about. So guys, I always say, you be you, just be the best you. And I promise you will always empower your dreams, ignite your passion, and accelerate your prosperity. Until next week, guys, be well.